afternoon, everyone. How's everyone enjoying GCC 2011? Good, that's what I like to hear. Before I begin, I did want to show some gratitude to a few people. One is Burton Bridges, who is the 2009 Collegian of the Year. He's ending his 2-year term with this Congress. I remember seeing Burton give this speech 2 years ago. I was sitting somewhere around here, and I was telling people earlier today that when I was thinking about what to say today, all I could remember in the back of my head is Burton talking about how he ran to be mayor of his small town and being like, how am I going to match up to something like that? So, and I just, I wanted to thank him just because I've heard nothing but great things about how Burton's been representing us as collegiates. He's been doing a great job, so I just wanted to all of us give him a round of applause and thank him. I also want to thank Jenny Turbach. She's going to be my senior mentor as I begin my work on the board. She's already been so helpful, and I look forward to working with her as well. I also want to thank all the elected and appointed volunteer leadership, the alumni, honorary initiates, and most of all of you collegiate brothers who chose to be here tonight. It really says a lot, volunteering to be someplace when you don't have to. It means that you're committed and you're passionate about something, so I just thank you for all the work that you've done to make this event so amazing. Thank you, guys. And so without further ado, I'll begin. Brothers from across the nation, I dedicate this address to you. It is an extraordinary privilege and honor to stand here this afternoon and share in this moment with you. I have to say that no matter how much you try to prepare for a moment like this, it's one that always finds you standing in awe. And it's not something where it's in a state of fear, but more in a state of genuine inspiration. Here I stand surrounded by hundreds of business professionals and leaders, each committed to excellence in personal achievement and serving their community, all united by common purpose and values, and each and every one of them driven by a shared passion for this brotherhood and a shared compassion for those whom we call our brothers. I don't know about you, but that gives me chills every time I think about it, especially at a time when it becomes so physically real, such as GCC. And then, as if that weren't enough, they actually expect me to stand here for 10 minutes and speak in front of this amazing group of people and offer you some kind of pearls of wisdom or motivation or tips. No pressure. The truth is that while I am very proud of my personal accomplishments and development as a brother of Delta Sigma Pi, as a student leader of Loyola Marymount University, and as a young professional, I don't feel like I'm in any place to lecture you on what's the best way forward from where you sit or stand here today. In my opinion, there are very few of life's truths that are absolute. However, this one is. None of us can completely control the future, and because of that, none of us will ever really know what tomorrow brings. All any of us can do is search into our past and act upon the valuable truths that we have discovered there, and use the lessons that we've learned along the way as our guide for making more fruitful decisions in the here and now. So that's exactly what I aim to do here tonight. I'm going to share with you some of my very own experiences as a brother of Delta Sigma Pi, with the help of some of my very own chapter brothers from the Delta Sigma chapter at LMU. And together we'll see if there's any value that can be taken with us in our journey forward. When I asked some of my own chapter brothers for some advice on where I should start the speech today, the response was along the lines of, well, I don't know where you should start, but you should definitely tell them your pledging story. They felt it would be a very unfortunate, wasted opportunity if I did not share with you all the story about how I entered this brotherhood and the way in which it transformed me. So as they say, the best place to start is at the beginning. Now I'll start off by telling you that I entered college a very different person from the man I was when I left it. At the time, college was merely a stepping stone on the way towards power, fame, and fortune. The three things I aimed for and lived at the time. I really hope to be on an episode of MTV's Cribs, drive around in a Bentley, and be profiled in Forbes magazine one day. Still not closing those doors, though. There is no clearer example of my self-centered and flawed character at the time than witnessing the way in which I pledged for Delta Sigma Pi. So let's talk to one of those witnesses. In order to avoid any suspicion that I may be changing the details or smoothing over the rough edges in order to show myself in a more flattering light, I decided that it would be better for you to hear the story from one of my own close chapter brothers, David Ishida. Believe me when I say there is no one more appropriate to tell you this story tonight. David was my pledge brother, pledge class president, chapter brother, executive committee colleague, and close friend. The best part about David is, for all of you, he holds no punches. Warning, this content may contain strong, potentially offensive language and depictions of the thoughts and behavior and misguided thoughts and decisions of one Cody Silva may not be suitable for children. I just had to prepare you for it. So when asked to describe my journey as a brother of Delta Sigma Pi, David writes this in response to me. When I first met Cody, he struck me as a quiet guy who liked to keep to himself, but I figured if we put in the effort, we'd be able to open him up. I don't think that's so bad. Our small class dwindled down to only 8, and to be honest, I would rather have been 7 with the level of interest that Cody demonstrated. Now that, ouch. We could never seem to get him on the same page. Cody didn't contribute ideas to the group. He went missing at events. He didn't step up to help his fellow bros. To put it simply, Cody was not a team player. Looking back on those 7 weeks, it must have been God's will that he made it through to initiation because, as Cody will admit, and this is true, if he had been a brother back then, he would have removed himself from the pledging process. I believe Cody's turning point was in his realization that no matter how gifted and driven you are, you won't get half as far on your own as you would with other support. I don't think that Cody was ever a slacker or unmotivated. He was simply acting under a misconception. Well, thank you, David. Just can't wait to see you at the next alumni reunion. It's harsh, but it's true. David's account can be confirmed by many brothers, some of whom are sitting in this room, and you need to keep your mouth shut for the rest of this room. Definitely not something I'm proud of, but it's part of what makes my story so unique and powerful. How is it that one is able to go from MIA, as I am described by David all the time, to COY 2011? To go from very limited individual success to unlimited opportunities and growth, leading to wide-scale accomplishments as a student leader, a brother, and a professional who's pursuing his passions of student development, culture, and travel, as a college Zoom student, success coach, and Hawaiian Airlines flight attendant. Well, it didn't just happen overnight, and there definitely was a shift in attitude and beliefs that took place in order to make it happen. But just what were those transformational beliefs exactly? While it would be extremely difficult to identify each and every detail that led to this bewildering transformation, honestly bewildering, I can't figure it out to this day. I was able to take away some key insights from what have always been some of my most memorable and rewarding DeltaSig experiences, and one of my favorite parts of chapter operations: recruitment. I always love recruitment because to me it symbolizes a time of heightened unity, renewed commitment, infectious passion, overflowing energy, and the best part of all, get to choose a theme. A theme that we believe defines who we are as a chapter and as a fraternity at that very moment, and demonstrates what we have to offer those who make the lifelong commitment to our brotherhood. Now, in my time as a brother of the Delta Sigma chapter, I've been around to see 7 different recruitment themes. I have to say that of the 7, the 3 most recent themes have been my favorite by far, because of the way that they've connected with some of my most powerful and fundamental beliefs that shaped my experience as a brother in Delta Sigma Pi, and contributed to my transformation as a young professional and servant leader. Our theme for spring 2010, the first of the 3, was, I'm a Delta Sig. What are you? For me, the theme spoke to what is, in my opinion, our most powerful ability as Delta Sigs and people, which is the ability to define and even redefine our identity and our reality. As individuals, every day begins with a clean and bright new white canvas that we then have the responsibility to paint in whatever way we see fit that day, through our beliefs, thoughts, and actions. Whether large and seemingly important, or small and seemingly not, each and every one of our decisions carries with it the weight of defining how the world sees us, and even more importantly, how we see ourselves. Will we be looked up to as courageous, compassionate, respectable, responsible, successful, and virtuous men and women of business? Or will we be seen as reckless, self-centered, self-serving, greedy, opportunistic, immature party animals who seek nothing more than power, money, fame, and one hell of a good time? Will we be cheered and admired, or booed and cast aside? The choice really is ours and only ours to make, each and every day. While we may not always have control of what cards we get dealt in life, we always have the power to choose how we will play those cards, and the attitude with which we will face that day. DeltaSigs understand this, and they take full responsibility for their thoughts and actions, and recognize that each and every moment is a new opportunity to define who we are and what we stand for. In fall 2010, we chose the theme, a DSP state of mind. Then Director of Recruitment, Luis Santos, now the current president of the Delta Sigma chapter, says this: I was inspired by Jay-Z's Empire state of mind, particularly the song's chorus. The ideas of opportunity and inspiration resonated with me in their relation to our fraternity, as Delta Sigma Pi inspires brothers to find their passions and open up the opportunities to pursue them. As a newly initiated brother at the time, being part of the brotherhood created this new mindset that I did feel brand new, as if I could accomplish anything and everything I set out to do. In many ways, Delta Sigma Pi is unique from other organizations because our brothers have a different attitude from many. Our traditions and our brotherhood allow us to have a different perspective on how we live our lives, both personally and professionally. I couldn't have said it better myself. This fraternity seeks to help brothers find and excel in their passions, and discover and pursue the opportunities that bring their dreams to reality. What sets us apart and truly makes up a DSP state of mind, though, is not merely the pursuit of opportunity, so much as the way in which we choose to pursue it. DeltaSigs realize that the most effective way for each of us to attain our goals is by doing it together. Each of us united in service as one, toward one another and in our communities, operating under the belief that the better we serve, the more fruitful and fulfilling our reward will be. Under this belief, we also strive to ensure that our efforts and accomplishments strive only to bring together and enhance the community that surrounds us, and never to act as a detriment to it. This is what we bring to a business community that for so long has been characterized by its excessive greed and gluttony, especially in our current times. We choose to live our lives according to a higher standard of ethics and integrity, leaving behind a grand legacy that we can be proud of. In spring 2011, DSP Where Amazing Happens was what headlined the posters and flyers scattered around our campus. Then Director of Recruitment Rod Naimi said this: we have all undergone a process that has pushed us to our limits, and in that process we have grown and developed our entire person exponentially. This process is about kickstarting your life, pushing your boundaries, and showing yourself and the people around you that what you're truly made of. Just like in the championship finals of the NBA, this is where people are pushed to their limits, forced to dig deep, and where their true abilities and strengths can shine, where amazing happens. This brotherhood truly is amazing in every sense of the word. It offers us one hell of a deal. We take full responsibility for our own success, aim our hearts, minds, and soul towards virtue, be open to new ideas, learning, commit ourselves to serving our fellow brothers and our community, and the fraternity will do all that it can to meet us halfway, and supply us with the experiences, tools, opportunities, and resources to reach for and attain our most sought-after goals, as well as provide us with lifelong friendships and memories that fill us up and propel us forward. Here we are truly given the opportunity to transform, turning misguided beliefs and actions into much more empowering and fulfilling ones that lead to success. A close friend and brother, Jamie Law, current VP of Chapter Development of the Delta Sigma chapter, said this about her reward for serving the fraternity as VP Pledge Education last semester: by witnessing, sharing, and experiencing their challenges, failures, success, and growth, I developed compassion and love for the pledge class, which motivated me to do anything for them in order to help them become the best they could be as individuals. I realized that in helping Delta Tau achieve their goals, I in turn achieved the most growth and success possible as an individual, which was the most gratifying feeling I've ever had. And that's the secret, ladies and gentlemen. That's how I went from MIA to COY. A shift to a much more empowering attitude and a much more compassionate heart. I have and continue to focus my energy and efforts as a brother and as a person around one fundamental belief: that together we truly are limitless in what we can accomplish, and we will rise to our best when our actions are directed by a compassionate heart that strives to serve and bring out the best in one another. It is a belief that many of my fellow brothers at LMU Delta Sigma chapter share, so much that it inspired our most recent past president, Trey Hernandez, to make what is now a famous proclamation within our chapter and a huge driver of our success. He said this: Delta Sigma does it different. our unyielding compassion for one another as a foundation for our commitment to success is what makes us special and sets us apart from other organizations. Our amazing district director, Najah Young, described Delta Sigma Does It Different in this way. I've been lucky enough to witness this culture come to life firsthand, and what I've seen is a chapter that lives the core principles and values of what Delta Sigma Pi stands for. It has developed brothers that respect each other as individuals, who support one another, who are not afraid to share their ideas, and who are willing to try almost anything at least once. It allows brothers to be completely open and honest with each other in a way that is productive and beneficial for both the individual and the group as a whole. As an alumnus, I now reflect on this mantra more from the perspective of a brother of the larger fraternity and not just the Delta Sigma chapter. And I realize that it still applies. I don't think it would be stretching the truth at all, with all that I've told you so far, to say this, that Delta Sigs do it different. Whether you choose to believe it or not, the letters that we all wear across our chests, on our hoodies, our jackets, our shirts, our sweaters, our pins, they never really come off when we remove those articles. For those of us who have taken the oath, until we remove ourselves from the fraternity, are removed, or until that day when we take our final breath, we all have these three letters tattooed across our chest, over our hearts, out there for everyone to see. To most of us, each of these letters has inherent meaning and value assigned through our ritual that if we search hard enough, can be validated through our own experiences as a brother. But therein lies the trick, doesn't it? Without the actions and the experiences to back them up, these meanings and values are nothing more than words on paper. Empty, hollow words. Each of us carries with them the responsibility and the honor to live up to and give meaning to those letters with each and every decision that we make, large or small. As a brother, a professional, and as a human being, I leave you now with a challenge and a promise. I challenge each of us in this room and all who call themselves brother across this nation to spend some time rediscovering those higher ideals and those grander values that inspired 4 young students at New York University, School of Commerce, Accounts, and Finance on November 7th, 1907. You know I had to say that without looking down at her. That should be shameful. Over 100 years ago, to spark a very unique and inspiring movement to bring integrity, honor, and compassion back to the world of business. Seek out those higher ideals within yourself, as well as this is my promise to you as the 2011 National Collegian of the Year, that if together we begin the process of realigning our thoughts and actions in our fraternal, professional, personal, and social lives with those higher ideals, and agree to take responsibility for our own success, and recommit ourselves to the compassionate service of others, especially those who we call brother, I will do all that I can as your collegiate representative to ensure that the fraternity continues to live up to and fulfill its responsibilities to you, offering you the experiences, resources, and opportunities to reach for and achieve your most sought-after goals and ambitions. And together we will add value to those letters. And if my personal story of transformation that I shared with you today has taught you anything, it should be that together truly nothing is impossible. And that is the attitude with which you should face all of the challenges you encounter as a brother and as a person. Remember, we each carry with us the responsibility and the honor of defining not only our own identities, but also those of the brothers that sit on the left and the right of us, with our thoughts, our words, and our actions. Let us aim for excellence and higher standards of virtue and integrity, because what are we?
We are DeltaSigs.
Because we are DeltaSigs. And one day it will be declared of each of us that the world truly was a better place because of our time here. Remember that our secret ingredient for success and the biggest contribution we make to the business community is a DSP state of mind. One that is aimed towards higher ethics and virtue, and one that genuinely believes that each of our own success and well-being is tied to the success and well-being of those around us. And lastly, remember that amazing transformation, growth, and opportunity happens here in Delta Sigma Pi for those who are brave enough and strong enough to commit themselves to this fraternity's guiding principles and values in the midst of all challenges and hardships. Because in the end, DeltaSigs do it different. And it is because of this that the world will always remember our name. I want to thank you all so much for the opportunity to speak before you. I look forward so much to working with you and serving with you all throughout the next biennium. Enjoy the rest of the GCC 2011. It truly is the transformational experience that started my journey. So enjoy it. I'll see you at the dance later tonight. I'm proud to be your brother, and I'm damn proud to be a DeltaSig. Thank you.